Welcome, YouTubers. Welcome to episode 10 of Play Some D with Coach D. That would be me. First off the bat, 10 episodes. I'm pretty hyped about that. Maybe I throw in some applause right here on the video. Maybe not. I don't even. Whatever. 10th episode. And this episode is going to be a little all over the place. But, that's what we do here at Play Some D. Variety. 4 topics. Break them up into 4 quarters. 4 random topics, preferably from the week, but could just be things of interest that I'm going to talk about. And first, please like and subscribe, turn on post notifications. That always helps so that notification comes up in your settings, so you know when I drop a vid. But anyway, this week I am shouldn't say obviously. It'll probably never happen, but I feel like I needed to touch on the DMX passing. So I will speak on that. Like I said, that will probably never happen, but I'll already put it out there. First quarter's DMX, and I'll talk about why I am commemorating, celebrating, shouting out, giving flowers, whatever you call it, to Earl Simmons. I also want to speak on the NCAA Transfer Portal. As my videos, I've talked about the NCAA a lot, and I don't know if that's going to change anytime soon. I'm a basketball coach. I coach the younger generation. I won't say kids. I don't really like to call them, younger kids. And excuse me, I think they should be empowered. So I'll talk about situations that arise with NCAA, high school, whatever pops up. Also, briefly touch on the Boeing 737 MAX. Yeah, that's, I don't know. And then lastly, I'll talk about the Amazon union situation in Alabama and what overall was what I think may or may not go down with that situation. But with that being said, I want to go ahead and dive deep into first quarter. First quarter with being DMX, the passing of DMX on April 9th. He was 50 years old. He's from Yonkers, New York. And he was that dude. I don't even know how else to put it. He was that guy, especially for me growing up. He was the first, and I mentioned I'll probably never, it'll be rare unless something crazy happens that I'll talk about people passing. It'll be rare that I do that. But this case for me felt I wouldn't say it felt a little different, but DMX was like the first artist that really got me into rap. So I think that's why it's fair. I in relation to like computers, I'm a somewhat of a computer geek too, and Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, their names ringing and seeing what they were doing in the IT space were kind of similar to DMX for me. But growing up, this was way before I ever even thought about computers. DMX was, he was that guy that everybody wanted to listen to. It was the first CD I purchased. Well, I talked my parents into purchasing for me that had parental advisory on it. That the customers actually bought It's Dark and Hell is Hot as the regular no cursing version. And I listened to that, and then I want to say Christmas time, or I forgot exactly when I got it, but I end up getting it with the curse words. And I remember I was just kind of hounded, like, you better not be cussing and things of that nature. But his music never influenced me in any way, shape, or form. Music doesn't do that for me. I know there's talks about it doing it for other people, and I believe it does or can, but for me it wasn't. It was just great sound. He was just so raw and gritty, and his rhymes were so dope, and I think they touched a lot of people and made people feel good or hype or whatever the case may be. I did I think it was 8th grade, and then there was X, that album. I did a project. We had a school assignment, and I did it on the song Fame, and I broke down the song, and the teacher was just astonished by my breakdown of that song. I'll never forget that. He's also been, movies, Cradle to the Grave, Belly, Romeo Must Die, Exit Wounds, and then just overall, I think the person in general, a lot of people seen some, obviously a lot of the rounds of his latest interviews, and he was able to do verses and to that nature. He was a good guy. I think everybody felt like his spirit overall was a good person. He had it's also known as Dark Man X, but he just had an edge to him. I mean, you grew up in Yonkers, I'm sure. You make it out and become successful, and Rough Riders, and he got a little backbone too. So I'm not gonna speak on none of that, but I mean, his first 5 albums went number 1. First 5 albums reached number 1 on Billboard charts. I would guess Rough Riders Anthem is probably his biggest song. Obviously Up in Here was huge too, and then just number of features he was on. But it sucks. It always sucks to lose a legend. I think everybody feels that way. I think everybody feels like people should be able to grow old in a sense, and I think I totally agree with all that sentiment. But certain people, as he mentioned in his, I think that was Drinking Champs interview, something happened to him, he felt like he lived a good life. And at the end of the day, for me personally, to hear him say that, it's like, okay, that's, he's had a good 50 years, and he feels good about that. And he's done stuff. People always say, like, would you rather live your life or live half of that of somebody else's, say a DMX or a Prince or whatever the case may be? And sometimes obviously most people will say no, but I think you can't help but to think about it, like, man, would it be cool to be DMX and play in front of have people recite your songs, hundreds of thousands of people, or whatever, crowds reciting your songs. I mean, that's got to be an awesome feeling, hearing people play your music and love you, and that's a feeling that everybody doesn't get. So yeah, I mean, he didn't, which I was surprised about. I've always followed him, and I've never remembered him winning anything. But he was 3 times Grammy nominated, never won. Only award he actually won was the American Music Award for Favorite Rap Artist in 2000. So that is pretty cool. He at least got one of those awards. He was nominated for some MTV Music Awards back when that was a thing. He was in video games, Def Jam and Dead. I'm sure a bunch of other artists were. The discography goes, It's Dark and Hell Is Hot, Flesh My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. Then there was X, Great Depression, Grand Champ, Year of the Dog, Undisputed, Redemption of the Beast, and I'm pretty sure he was working on something new. So he was, as far as like other things that happened to him in terms of legal trouble and drug issues. That's whole separate story. The dude was great in the music space, and overall, I think he was a dope individual. I didn't speak of anything on Twitter or social media or really talk about it much, but only person I've been around celebs, and he's the only person that ever been starstruck. Met him at the Saddle Ranch in Hollywood, and we were out hanging out, and he was there, just didn't want to be there. I think he was there with some friends. He was just hanging out, and something happened, and somebody it was some confetti or something that landed on my shoes. I had some dope J's on, and he's like, "Hey man, something landed on your shoes." He spoke to me, and I was shocked for a second. Then I was like, "Oh, thanks." He's like, "Yeah, no problem." And that, that was just one of the, I never forget that day. It was a really cool moment, because for a long time, I think it's probably DMX and Eminem, probably the only two artists that I really, really, and J. Cole, that I really just admire their music, their work ethic, their sound. I just always, I think those three artists probably fall around. I love music, but those three guys, I think, probably more than everybody, with DMX being the first. But yeah, shout out to, his name's Earl Simmons, DMX, that stands for Dark Man X. I feel like he got his due. People showed him a lot of love, and yeah, RP to a legend, forever missed. So yeah, jumping into second quarter. Second quarter is gonna be all about this NCAA Transfer Portal. I actually had something else in mind for second quarter, and last minute switched it out with this, because I feel like this is a bigger issue than what I was just gonna kind of rant about on some random, like I normally do every week. But yeah, it's basically there's more than 1,000 players who put their name in the transfer portal this year to see who's interested in them. And it also, I don't know if it'll be like this every year, but I think it's fair with COVID. And I think COVID, so this was implemented, the NCAA created in 2018, and I think it's, especially with players don't get, talk about the pay thing last week. Check out the last video, talk about amateurism. But I think the players, currently they aren't getting paid. So they do need some way to make sure they're at least in the environment that they want to be in, to play basketball and to work hard and whatever. So I think it's fair. Is 1,000 a lot? Sure, it is. But as I mentioned, with COVID creating such a unknown situation, and you having an extra year eligibility, I think players are taking advantage of that, and I think they should. I think certain players were able to play. Like there's some couple BYU guys I read that transferred right after they lost to UCLA, and it's like, where can I fit? Where can I go where it's possibly going to help me be a better player next year and further my career? I've seen a lot of stuff on social media in terms of work harder, stay at the school, this, that, and the other. But I think that day and age is really over, and you shouldn't really have to. You shouldn't really have to. I know there's a whole thing with Dick Vitale, famous college basketball announced this transferring all over the place is going to destroy Oregon. NCAA should think twice before officially making it that players can transfer without sitting the year. The chaos going on is sickening. Only should allow players to transfer without sitting out when a coach leave. Yeah, you just can't have that both ways like that. A coach can quit, go to another job. Players can't. So it always seems like that. It's always like people are going against the players it's not going to mess with the game. All of these great players are good players who are just going to go to another school. And unfortunately, if that school doesn't keep up its end of the bargain with that player, they should be able to leave. I don't think anybody should have to sit and be stuck somewhere and possibly have their career ruined, their college experience ruined. A number of different things. You get in a situation you just don't want to be there anymore. It's just your energy doesn't match that, or that's not the situation you thought it was going to be. But I do get the blowback on it. I do get why people would be upset about that. But for kids that just seen UCLA and USC do well, it's like, man, I want to go to Southern California and play basketball. If they want me, why wouldn't I take a look? Especially if I'm somewhere that may not be using my talents like I think they are, and that coach likes me. Why not give it a shot? So I don't know the exact rules of bouncing around. If you transfer this year, you could do it again next year. I mean, I'm sure they're going to put some kind of restraints on it, but sitting out a year definitely shouldn't happen. And yeah, I don't think that's fair. And once again, even if it was, you get that extra year eligibility, I think this was still going to be a boom of a year for transfers. But like I said, I don't think it's gonna go on like this moving forward. And I also think it tightens the bolts on programs too, to do a little bit extra to keep the players, to make sure you massaging, all your guys, making sure everybody's, somewhat happy or somewhat comfortable. Because coaches have a lot of power, the schools have a lot of power. The players kind of don't up until now. And this isn't even really power. You could just kind of threaten to leave, and you obviously can leave, but even going to another school doesn't mean you're going to play there either. So programs and coaches already have a lot of power. Players shouldn't feel like they're stuck or be miserable. Life's too short. You only get one college career, and your talent can be wasted. I know people personally whose talent was messed, Yeah, I know situations happen. So I'll leave it at that. But overall, I think this shakeup is massive, but for the excitement of college basketball, I think it'll be good excitement. Some people are going to be angry about it. Obviously, you can't please everybody. And there may not be that many players that actually transfer because they're, all these moving pieces, some coaches may be overwhelmed and just feel like, nah, I don't, it may be, it's kind of like recruiting 2 times. It's like this guy says, two questions: will coaches still go out into summer and recruit post-pandemic, or will mid-major stop recruiting high school players altogether? Because you can just go and grab somebody at the transfer portal. So I think that's kind of exciting, actually. But it's also what the coach wants and things of that nature. So, yeah, this says, the transfer portal gives some rights back to players as to determination of their own destiny without penalty. After all, coaches can change. Yep. We know all that. So, transfer portal has changed the game for the way college programs manage their roster, but maybe not in the way it appears on the surface. Players hit the transfer portal seemingly every day now, and on the surface, that seems like players are really quick to give up their school and look for greener pastures elsewhere. So yeah, I think transfer portal is cool. Help all the kids, most of the players get to where they want to go. Thrive. Programs thrive. We have exciting basketball, and I actually personally think it's going to work out. I think it's going to work out for everybody here, honestly. So, quarter number 3. I just want to do a quick cycle to this Boeing 737 MAX news. So it's having electrical issues. Boeing has recommended of 16 customers they address a potential electrical issue in a specific group of 737 MAX. This is the same plane with 2 crashes, killed over 300 people, was out for 20 months. And there's other countries like China, they haven't even cleared that plane to fly yet. I think I just take the whole third quarter out to say, I could probably make this a minute or two. Let's see, it cost Boeing, the grounding cost Boeing more than $20 billion. I'm not sure exactly how much Boeing made or have made, but I think this is just, I feel like this is just the L that Boeing needs to take. Sometimes you win all the time, and Boeing's been great. But you took this L, and that plane has to go. In my mind, I said that already, but saying it on Play Some D right here, right now, I thought originally when it crashed twice and they said, let's see. So what was that? Fixes. It was made to malfunctioning safety systems blamed for the crashes, and those supposedly were fixed. So FAA approved those to go forward. But now you don't get that many passes to refix planes that are supposed to fly for a long time. These planes are built to last for years and years, 10, maybe even 20 years. If they, they're built to do that. But I think at some point you kind of gotta start from scratch, lick your wounds, and build I honestly think this gives Boeing, and I don't know their day-to-day operations, and I'm not an expert on plane buildings or none of that. Not as I am, but Boeing is, and I think they should be able to take their L and say, look, we're going to build the dopest, best plane we've ever built. We're going to be meticulous and make sure everything works. We're going to iron this thing out front to back, because we still got planes that fly that work. 737 MAX wasn't saving any other planes, and obviously not retiring any other planes. So Boeing has some time to go to the drawing board and build an awesome new model of plane. Obviously, they're probably already working on them, and they have stuff in the works, but I feel like they need something, and they may be doing it already, that says, and just admit to it, we screwed up, but we got something better for you guys, and here it is. The flip side of that argument is that they could build another plane and it could suck too. And then we start, snowball effect. So I have to play both sides of the coin. Obviously, everybody's not perfect, but I do think this plane, 4 U.S. airline, Southwest, United, American, and Alaska have 737 MAX planes in their fleet and are currently flying them. Southwest and United have placed orders for additional 737s. Southwest, which owns the most 737s, said prior that this issue affects 30 of those 58 in its fleet. It says those planes will be replaced by other aircrafts. So you see, like, United has 16, so that they can ground those planes and then you get to the older ones. I don't know exactly however they do it, but it's doable. So I just think this sucks for Boeing, and I think big companies like that in those spaces just it's all about profits, and it just shouldn't be. I mean, we're you essentially in a market, and I think it's just Boeing and Airbus really, and nobody's catching up on you. You're not losing ground. You're just losing a couple money. The CEO gets his bonuses when everything goes all grandiose, but something like this goes bad, and the CEO or the next CEO or whatever, the company has to take that and look out for the people that's flying on the planes, and even the companies that's buying these from you. So that's really the gist of it. I mean, I honestly, I was not surprised to see it pop back up. And I remember saying that. I remember originally when they said something was wrong with the plane, I'm like, there's more stuff wrong with that plane. Not all of them, obviously not all of them, but there's something wrong with that plane, and they need to scratch the lemons and be eager to replace them with some new lean, mean machines. That's it. That's third quarter. Wrap it up in a nice, sweet bow. Boeing, fix your ish. Don't cut corners. Make a beautiful plane. Y'all, the GOAT did it. Just do it right. That's third quarter. And fourth quarter probably is going to be just about the same. I mean, Amazon, the union workers, falls up. So yeah, the warehouse workers in Alabama, but they won't be forming a union. It was basically 1,800 votes against 730 votes. So that's a lot, you know. That's and I get it, you know, Amazon offers $15, and I think the gist of it is that people just want Amazon. Just, you pay us decently. We're down to work hard. You got work for us to do. Most people want to work. Most people want to contribute. Just be fair. You know, let me go to the bathroom. Don't watch me. Don't monitor me like a little kid. And I think most people will be okay. I do. I just, you know, people don't, you know, Amazon on the other side, they want to be a lean, mean machine. They want to make sure that packages get to people in 2 days if people, you know, require that. Or things are fulfilled in a automated, timely, and in a, you know, in a certain manner that their process gathers, or, you know, how they work. So I get it. You don't want people slacking off and, you know, taking longer breaks. So they really pinch, you know, and curve those corners that's not really human, because sometimes you need a 5-minute break. Sometimes you need a 15-minute break. Sometimes you need a 17-minute break. You may not need exactly 15 or exactly 5. So you need a few more just to get a couple, you know, just that human element. Like, we're not robots. Like, you just can't, you know, 5 minutes, I'm ready to go back to work. Like, you may not be ready to go back to work. You may need just a, you know, a few more minutes off your feet. You know, that happens, and that's really real. You know, especially when you're doing that every day, and then you want to have that freedom to feel good when you go to your job, especially doing it every single day. And you don't want to feel, you know, like, yeah, it sucks. Like, I gotta go to work today and be treated like however you feel like you're being treated. You want to feel like you're being treated well. 5,900 people at that Bessemer facility, more than half, you know, cast their ballots. As far as what Amazon did, I mean, it's kind of maybe like Prop 22 with Uber and Lyft and the ride sharing, making people workers instead of contractors in California last year. I don't know how much Amazon was in Alabama, you know, don't. I don't know. I don't know what they said, you know, you're going to lose. Union's going to take so much of your money. You won't be making $15 an hour anymore. I'm sure they did all of that jazz. But, you know, that is true. You know, people have that feeling of, we unionize, but that don't mean we make more money. That doesn't mean, yeah, we may get, you know, may help us with better breaks, and, you know, we kind of in this together. But some people don't want to be in that situation, especially they're already at the job how it is. And it's from the sounds of it, from people I talked to that worked at Amazon, it's not the best, you know, warehouse, you know, it's not the best work, but some people get decent pay, and that's, you know, 15 is starting pay. So, you know, that can start to glide up there. And if you catch a rhythm, where some people feel like, it's a workout and, all that good stuff, then, kudos to them. They're running, they're a lean mean machine right along with Amazon. So they don't want nobody in their pockets or happen to, talk to a union, or if we all strike, we all, I get all that stuff. So Delaware, what was it? Delaware a few years ago. I want to say it was Delaware a few years ago. Small group of technicians that also voted against ununionized. That was in 2014. And I imagine at some point there may be somebody that gets this thing closed, but I think Amazon's just too much a machine to really overall let it happen. Yeah, I don't think it'll get to that point where it'll actually happen, but I do think applying pressure to Amazon will help the work environments. And I think Amazon's good enough, smart enough to meet most of the workers at least halfway there, if not go above and beyond. And obviously they'll, the robots and automation will come in. It'll probably make, some of it easier. And as they take over more and more and more, there can be more people in, similar facilities, and the workload gets lighter. So, I mean, there's a couple, different ways to look at it, but, Amazon's the second largest private employer. That's 800,000 employees. You're just not going to get, especially people making a decent amount of money, it's that livable wage that everybody keeps talking about, and Amazon's right around there. But, like some of the complaints are, it's not just about livable wage. You want to be comfortable at work, which is totally understandable, and not being, something, not even somebody, something, technology breathing down your neck, being tracked. That stuff it's almost like pressure. It's almost kind of like a nightmare, like if somebody's chasing you, in a nightmare or something like that. So I understand, but I do think that Amazon, over my overall thought process of this is that it's cool because it puts pressure on Amazon and say, hey, look, we voted to do this. So can you listen to us? Can we try to work out something where it makes sense for everybody? Because, one of my takes is, all it really would take is for majority of workforce to sit down, and Amazon, we're not coming to work, and Amazon has an issue. Don't think that ever will happen. I'm a pessimist on that angle with everybody standing up and be like, no, enough is enough. I don't think that's going to happen, but the threat of that can raise some eyebrows in my opinion, for sure. But yeah, that's episode 10. It's a little thought provoking and opinionated, and just my thoughts, just running through my head. Like I said, with the transfer portal and the 737 Max, and even Amazon tightening it up and figuring out a way to make this ship sail a little bit smoother for everybody, And same goes for Boeing, making the ship sail smoother, or the plane fly smoother for people that get on it. You don't want to get on the plane and say, asking questions like, was this one of the planes that had the electrical issues or the safety system failures? Like, is this the one you fixed? Like, who wants to get on that plane? Like, I really don't. I really, really don't. Or NCAA, you have to stay at this university for 4 years. Like, I hate it here. Can I leave and I have to sit out, take another shot somewhere else? That's all smoothing. I mean, that's all, things that seemed reasonable in today's society. And as I started the episode with DMX, legend. Hope his music plays for months or all year. Just ride to it. Just enjoy it. Appreciate it. He gave us some thought-provoking, sometimes angry, hype, exciting, lovable, cool, chill. I mean, all the vibes. So that's episode 10. I felt comfortable, and I always felt comfortable. And this one was one that was like, thought of real life stuff, personable stuff. We're down to the people here in episode 10. And once again, I'm just one guy with opinion, whatever. But please like, subscribe, turn on them post notifications, and until the next one, holla.